Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to quickly give some thoughts regarding the upcoming hardcore mode and just a few thoughts about survival and its future in the Division 2. Now, the reason I'm bringing these topics is because I see some similarities between this hardcore mode and survival. I think there's probably basically just one for now. But I mean, that's just all we've seen from their state of the game. I mean, in their state of the game, I think they were just, kind of explaining a lot of other things that the survival didn't seem to have a lot of front and center stuff. But I think they want us to just see it before we can make a determination. But one of the really cool things that I saw is, somebody in the comment section said, hey, in this hardcore mode, they're actually going to give you another agent that actually is designated to hardcore mode. So in my last video, I was wrong about thinking that we were going to have to delete one character or create a new character to do that. So basically, even with my 4 characters, I remember Hamish saying, we're going to give you an agent that is designated for this. So I don't know how that's going to work until we see it. Then we're going to know. But I'm hoping I don't have to delete another agent. Now, in regard to survival, I went on Reddit and, I'm not really a fan of the Division subreddit. I mean, I'm just not a fan of it. Just because of specific things. I mean, I can lay it out for you if you want. Ask me in the comment section. But, one of the really cool and one of the most upvoted posts was somebody saying, bring back survival for all things holy or something along the lines of that. And, there was a lot of conversation. It wasn't like everybody was for it, but it seemed like it had, that topic had been one of the bigger topics that a lot of people had been discussing, even on the Division subreddit. And I know the developers love the Division subreddit. They enjoy it and they enjoy reading it. They give everything to the moderators after they make any announcement. They give them the documents to post. So it's one of their, in their opinion, one of the ways they can actually get to communicate or hear communications from the community. And so for them to refuse to do a survival mode is basically based on them just looking at the data. But the data has shown them data from the Division 1. I remember somebody here on this channel too, I think Ian McDonald said, very few people extracted in survival from the Division 1 on the leaderboards. And, sure, I think that must have been the case. But you have to look at the Division 2 and the way the Division 2 game has been structured. Even though survival was a difficult mode in the Division 1, for the Division 2, on the other hand, we had the raid, which is a lot more difficult than survival. 8-man, all that stuff. But survival in itself is a mission that you can go with, just by yourself or up to 4 people. Or you could just, play the PvP mode, and that was also fun in itself for those who enjoyed PvP. So even though many people weren't extracting, it didn't mean a lot of people were not having fun. And I think that's pretty much another way that we can look at it. And looking at it from a fresh perspective of, if they bring survival to the Division 2, they have more control to make it more engaging and more interesting. They can switch out, where you find loot. They can increase the reward structure. Another thing too with the Division 1 was the reward structure for survival was very RNG heavy. So you weren't really getting much. I mean, there was the urban MDR that a lot of people kind of thought was there, but eventually it just, went like, hey, why would I play for 1 hour to maybe not get the urban MDR? So I think on the back end of survival was plainly for just, plain enjoyment, and the reward system did not feel like a real reward system. Sure, you could go get all those caches and stuff, they were really cool to get, but your chances of getting the exotics that you wanted were kind of low. So you were almost better off just playing underground and, getting those rewards. So I think that's one of the reasons a lot of people did not necessarily play the survival mode. But, now we have the hardcore mode, and I'm going to play it. I think a lot of people were mistaken with my last video, and I did mention I will play this hardcore mode if, the situation was that I didn't have to delete an agent. And from somebody here on the comment section, I think that's the case. And remembering the state of the game, which I'm not going to go back and watch again, sorry, I'll be happy to play it, honestly. I mean, I'm playing my Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for the second play on the hardest difficulty. Why would I not play the Division 2 on its most, grueling difficulty? Now, I guess another thing that I don't remember hearing in the state of the game, because, you watch that 42-minute long thing and, it's difficult to kind of remember sometimes what you heard, except you go back and start, watching it all over again, is the reward system for this hardcore mode. So today's Friday. and they're going to be releasing this mode on Tuesday. So if anybody has any pull or any weight with, the developers, maybe on Twitter, can you just throw out a tweet asking, hey, what's the reward system going to look like for this hardcore mode? I mean, I know it's permadeath and, it's kind of a survival mechanic that they've taken and put in this mode. But at the same time, they know the biggest thing that players asked for when it came to Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and that was rewards. So I think they're going to incentivize players to actually play this if they actually put a good reward system. So in the case of rewards, they can make it where it's like, okay, if you get to level 30 without dying, then, you have access to these specific items. And those specific items could be, exotic of your choice. Perhaps. I think that's a fair way to go. I mean, many people may say, oh, that seems like it's too easy. You're talking to somebody that's gotten all the exotics in the game. The only exotic I do not have, I gave away, and that was a Sawyer's knee pad. So if I'm saying that this should be a reward, it's not like I'm trying to benefit myself. I'm just saying it because I feel like it'll be a solid incentive for players to actually play this hardcore mode. I mean, just imagine if, you can choose the exotic that you want at the end of the mission. Now, the only thing is, you can't share things across this character, but I mean, I feel like when you get to level 30, then the mode is complete. Then the next time you want to play this mode, then you have to start all over again to choose a reward of your kind. The level 1 to level 30 grind for a seasoned player is at least 25 to 30 hours. So if you're giving me, I mean, it's nice to get the 25 to 30 hour game mode, but at the same time, because it's a looter shooter, it will be nice to be able to get a reward that actually goes with it. Something that goes into your mailbox, you pick it yourself from a list of things at the end. I mean, that's really nice. Look at all the exotics that we have in the game and you can pick it. I mean, in fact, if there are more exotics coming to the game and somebody already has all the exotics that they want, they could just wait for new exotics to show up and they could play that mode and get the, the exotic that they want. Now, 30 hours for one exotic seems absurd, but if it's a guaranteed 30 hours, I think a lot of people will play it. This is a Division 2. I don't know. Maybe my thoughts are, a little jumbled and all over the place. But the developers did say that they did not close the door to survival, that in fact that they were trying to see if they could bring in aspects, or they thought that aspects that made survival fun could be implemented in other fun ways. So I guess if I would look back at that state of the game, I can say that they're working on some things, and necessarily those things may be for the year 2 DLC. The year 1 project with all the free content and stuff, I don't think that model really worked for them. I think what they could have done was bring a more robust, content schedule that had DLC, just like Survival and Underground. Those had their DLC for about $29. I feel like that would have been a fair trade. And they had incursions as well, too. So that should be a thing that the developers can look into. And I'll make another video regarding incursions and just ask, where did they go? I feel like they were really solid landmark type missions that called for coordination but did not require an 8-man group to play them. And so we're going to go from there and we're going to look at that. But these are just my thoughts on the hardcore mode and what survival and its future looks like. I think it will come to the Division 2 eventually when players continue to barrage them, or they will bring some of its mechanics and spread it out over different kinds of content, which I don't know if that's going to satisfy the community, but what does it really matter? Honestly, let's get new content in here. That's one of the things that the game is really suffering from. And many people are starting to say because they don't feel the Division is a profitable franchise or profitable enterprise anymore, that's why they're slow rolling the content. And that might not be the case, but it's what people are feeling because of the delays, if you understand what I mean. But let's be fair. Let's see what this hardcore mode does. Let's see if it brings some playtime into the game, and let's see how that works out for a lot of people. I'll be playing it. I mean, I don't know what the reward system is, but I'll just play it just for the sake of playing it. And if it interests me, I'll try to get to level 30. And if it doesn't, then I'll just go back and play, Jedi Fallen Order for the second time, because apparently the second time feels better than the first time and all that good stuff. So I guess we'll see from there. So thank you very much for your time and audience. Thanks for watching the video. For those of you that are subbed, if you have the notifications on, please check your notifications. Somebody was saying something about a video that I published a while ago just showing up on their notification feed. And if you haven't subscribed, hey, feel free to do so. This is the Gaming Daddy channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.